So soon after a breakup occurs, I know that a lot of women have it on their minds about dating again. It's just a natural thing, I think. And because the fact that loneliness sets in, fear of the future, and just that overall feeling of wanting to get married, that desire, a lot of women are like, I need to get back out there. But before you do, before you think about dating again, ask yourself a few questions about whether or not you're actually ready for that. So come on today's episode, join me back as we really dig into this. Hey sis, welcome to Goodbye Heartbreak, Hello Healing. Are you hurt and confused after a recent breakup? Are you having thoughts like, I can't believe I'm here again. Why wasn't I enough for him? Or I'm never going to get married? Do you find yourself Googling how to get past the breakup or how to heal my broken heart? Do you start your morning feeling like you can finally breathe again, only to fall apart when you see a picture of your ex on social media? Hey sis, I'm Candace. I too was a single Christian woman who was heartbroken but still desired marriage. I too had numerous failed relationships and wished the right man would come along. I wanted closure from past relationships, healing for my heart, and I wanted to feel joy in my life again. But the truth is, I had no idea where to start or how to make any of this happen. Until I found the secret, partnering with God to heal from heartbreak. In this podcast, you will find tips for moving on after breakups, growing your relationship with God, and preparing for future relationships so that you will heal your heart and be ready to move forward into the life you desire. So turn off those heartbreak songs and turn me up in those earbuds. It's time to heal, sis. Hey sis, and welcome back for today's episode. I'm so happy that you are joining me on today. First, let me say thank you all for all the congratulations that you guys gave last week for the 1-year podversary. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone who celebrated with me. It was such an enormous milestone to make it 1 full year and to be consistent and disciplined. I had some really great episodes that I aired last week. So if you didn't listen to those, and you can celebrate just a little bit later with us, but they were some really good episodes. So check those out. So sis, if you are new around here, please make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. And also, if you have not left your 5-star written review, whether you've been rocking with us for a while or you just joined us, please go and leave your 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts because it really helps the show. And just a reminder, a little gift for you guys, make sure that you grab a free copy of my new ebook, 100 Declarations to Declare After a Breakup. I will leave a link for you in the show notes. It's super easy to get your copy, so don't miss out because it is so good. Now, about today's episode. I know that so many of you, you have this desire to want to be married. You feeling lonely after this breakup. You're feeling a little lost, and it's just a lot of emotions going on inside of you, yet you still have this desire to want to be with someone, to be in a relationship, and all of these things. And so today I want to talk to you about dating again, because I think whether you've been out of your relationship for just a short period of time or whether you've been out for quite some time, I know there's some things that probably should happen first before you consider dating again. So I want to talk to you just about 5 simple questions to ask yourself. And for me, the last time before I got married, that last relationship that ended, I didn't really go through this process per se because I didn't actually date again. I went straight from being single to engaged. That's a whole different story. But I do remember previous relationships when they ended. I probably should have went through this process of asking myself a few questions before I actually entered into another relationship, because I know I exited some relationships and within a week or so, I was in another one. And there were times where I gave it maybe a few weeks and a few months before I entered into another relationship, but still, no matter how long I had been out, I should have been asking myself some questions before entering into another relationship. So I am going to share those questions with you today in case you are considering dating again and whether or not you're ready. So question number 1, do I still desire to be with my ex? I think this is a very important question because, there are a lot of you out there who were like, I was really in love with this person. I thought he was the one. And, I still love him. Yet, because you don't want to be alone, like this person doesn't necessarily want to get back together with you, but you want someone. So you still love this person. You still desire to be with this person, but you're willing to get into another relationship with someone else. Sis, that's not good. That is not good. So ask yourself that question. Do I still desire to be with my ex? And if you do, you definitely should not get into a relationship with someone else, because that could be catastrophic for that other person if those feelings stay there. And if they stay there and you end up, imagine this, you still love your ex, you start dating this new person, really great guy, he wants to be with you, he wants to move into like this serious relationship, he wants to possibly get married, but you're still holding a torch for someone else. You never had the chance to deal with that. Imagine the impact that can have on you and that other person. So we don't want that. So answer that question first. Do I still desire to be with my ex? Question number 2. Did I do the healing work to heal from past heartbreaks? So we're not just talking about this very last heartbreak. We're talking about all the past heartbreaks. Like right now, we can only do what we can do now. We can't go back and fix everything, every decision from the past. However, we're here where we are now. So reassess all your past breakups. Have you healed from the last one and everyone prior to that? If you have not, sis, you have some work to do. You have work to do. You need to make sure that you are healed and whole before you enter into a relationship with someone else. Again, we are talking about someone else's lives. We don't always think about that whenever we think about dating. But this is someone else's life. We are very like me focused in that. And I want to be happy and I want to make myself happy. But we have to remember that someone else is involved here. And we have to make sure that we're considering their feelings as well. So sis, doing the healing work, and we have so many episodes on healing in this podcast, so be sure to do the healing work. There's so much resources available to you. I mentioned like the free stuff I have available, the prayer, because of course prayer is something that's so key and essential in this healing journey. So make sure you're praying. If you need help with prayer, I have a free prayer that you can get. I'll leave a link in the show notes, the 100 biblical affirmations to declare, stuff that you should be declaring over your life, just the work that you need to get done. If you need a plan and you need help getting a plan, I offer Heartbreak coaching sessions. I have my daily devotional. Like there's so many resources available to you here. So there's no excuse not to do the healing work. So do not enter into another relationship until that is done. Question number 3, am I trying to fill a void? This is a very important question, because if you are really just wanting to be in a relationship because you feel like something is missing in your life, then 1, that's a sign that the healing work is not done. And 2, that's a sign that, hey, I really need to be seeking God, because what is missing, like you may not even know, you think you want to just be in a relationship, but at the end of the day, that may be a void that cannot be filled by another person. Most likely it's not. So if you are just trying to fill a void, and you have to ask yourself this question and sit with it, because you can't just say, am I trying to fill a void? No, and be done with it. This is a question that you have to ponder. This is a question that you should seek God about. Am I just trying to fill a void here? And really allow time to hear from God about this, so that he can let you know, like, hey, this is probably what you should be doing instead. So if you're just trying to fill a void, sis, then you're not ready to date. Because if you're dating for intention to move forward with marriage, if you're dating because you want like a serious relationship and want to build something with someone, then you need to make sure you're ready for that. Hey sis, can I have a moment of your time? I remember what it's like to be a single woman dealing with heartbreak from numerous failed relationships. I thought the best way to get over a man was to get a new one. So I went from man to man trying to find someone who would take away the pain I felt. Then I thought I found him, but after a couple of years of dating, that relationship ended too. That broke me. I cried all the time and I felt so lost and alone. At that point, I gave up. I didn't even have the strength to get out there and try to find another man. The pain in my heart was so great that I knew no man would be able to heal it. I knew I had to do something different this time. Then one day, I decided to give it all to God. I surrendered my broken heart and that breakup to God, and it made such a huge difference in my life. In fact, that was the turning point for me. Within 1 year after surrendering everything to God, I found myself having peace and joy again, being content as a single woman, becoming confident in who God created me to be, and even engaged and shortly afterwards married. Talk about a year. Sis, are you ready to move on after this breakup? I would love to help you move forward into what's next for you. Join me for a Heartbreak coaching session where we will create a 90-day heart healing plan. I will show you how to partner with God to release negative emotions and find peace in the midst of your heartbreak while also empowering yourself as a single woman. You will be able to carry out the simple steps to make real progress on your healing journey with a customized plan of how to move forward. Plus, you'll receive 2 weeks of accountability from me. If you're struggling to find healing on your own, I invite you to sit with me to tell your story and begin creating a new and better one. Spots are limited, so go now to CandiceABaddies.com/services to book your 60-minute heartbreak coaching session. If you think this is the end, remember 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9. It says, "No eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love him." Let's do this, sis. Now back to today's episode. Question number 4, do I feel worthy of love? All of these questions are serious questions that you need to answer before going into the dating game again. So do you feel worthy of love? This is a question that might feel uncomfortable to answer, but you need to answer, sis. Do you think you are worthy of someone else's love? Do you feel that you deserve to be loved? Or do you feel like I've done so many bad things? I have a risque past. I don't deserve it. I hurt someone else. All of these things. Again, if you don't feel worthy of love, then you should not go into the dating game right now, because you will be going in with like this desperate vibe, so to speak. You will be putting out there that, I'm just going to take whatever because I really don't deserve the best. I don't deserve God's best. I don't deserve a good man. So I'm just going to take whatever man comes my way. And sis, let me tell you now, that is not true. I don't care what happened in your past. Just the only thing that needs to happen now is that you heal going forward so that you don't mess with someone else's life if you've done that in the past. If you hurt someone in the past, so you're not intentionally going in and hurting someone again. So just make sure you go through the healing process, but you are absolutely worthy of God's best, and he has a best for you. And so I want to see you get that. I want to see you get what God has for you. So don't rush it. If you don't feel worthy of love, then guess what? It's not time, sis. Dating is not the thing you need to be focused on right now. And then question number 5, do I feel I can put and keep God first in a relationship? So this is a hard one. This is something that I think I struggled with a lot in my dating relationships because, you might feel like you're in a good place with God, and then you get into a relationship with someone else, and then you put that person before God and yourself, like that person becomes your God. I know you don't want to say that, but that person's the person you want to spend all your time with. You want to give them like all of your attention, and you praise them. And in some senses, some people worship the other person. I know you it's something that is hard to admit. I've been there. I've worshiped a relationship. I've worshiped a man. It's been an idol, even when I didn't realize it. So if you cannot put and keep God first, and if you want to actually have a godly relationship that's successful and leads to marriage, you need to have God at the center, and he needs to be first in your life. You always need to be seeking him for guidance on what's happening. When conflict arises in a relationship, yes, you need tools, but you also need God, because you need to seek him and be like, you know what, is this something that I should be working through with this person? Or is this like a deal breaker that I should be walking away from? Is this a red flag that I need to leave this alone? Or is this a red flag that just something needs to be addressed? And the Holy Spirit will lead you in that. He's concerned, y'all. God is so concerned about all of these things, because who you end up with, right? Who you marry affects the rest of your life. It affects your future generations. It affects so many things. It affects your purpose, your calling. Like, everything is affected by who you decide to tie your life to. So you, sis, need to do the work to make sure that you are ready for this. So ask yourself that question: can I put and keep God first? Because God is my source. When God is not first, you are looking for that person to do the things for you that only God can do. And that's actually unfair to the other person. And I'm sure I've mentioned this before, because I've done that. I've had expectations for people that I were in relationship with that only God can meet. The person wasn't perfect, and anytime they stepped outside of perfection, I was there with the, condemnation. I was there with the, you shouldn't do that. That's not right. And whether it's right or wrong, people do make mistakes. However, I also had the expectations that you need to be the one to make me happy. You need to fulfill me. You need to do this. Like, you need to do that. I don't feel loved. If you don't feel loved, then, sometimes maybe the person doesn't love you, but it's not their job to make you feel good about yourself. It's not their job to make you feel fulfilled. They love you the best they can. But your fulfillment needs to come from God. Now, if you're not happy in the relationship, then that's a different thing. You leave that relationship. But that person is not the source of your joy. He's not the source of your peace. He's not the source of your fulfillment. Those things come from God, and you have to know the difference there. So if you can't put and keep God first, then sis, you are not ready to date again. All right. So let's go through these 5 questions again to ask yourself. 1, do I still desire to be with my ex? 2, did I do the healing work to heal from my past heartbreaks? 3, am I trying to fill a void? 4, do I feel worthy of love? And 5, do I feel I can put and keep God first in a relationship? And sis, let me be honest with you. You should have all 5 of these. Like, you should really have a good answer, a positive answer to all 5 of these questions before you enter into the dating game again, okay? And if any of these, you have an issue with any of these, it should be addressed and fixed first. That's just me speaking. Y'all know y'all do whatever y'all want. Y'all grown. You grown, right? But if you want to have a successful relationship, if you want to be fulfilled in your relationships before even getting into one, ask yourself these questions and do the work where the work is necessary, okay? So I love you. Sis, come over to the Facebook group. Let me know what you thought about this episode, and I look forward to talking to y'all again really soon, and I'll see you later. Bye. Hey sis, listen, if you have been blessed, changed, or inspired by this podcast in any way, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. This is the #1 way that you can thank me and show support for the show. Also, if this podcast blessed you, don't keep it to yourself. Do a quick share and bless someone else. Please know I am so grateful for each and every one of you, and I would love to hear from you. Come connect with me and other like-minded individuals in my Facebook group called Christian Women Overcoming Heartbreak and Finding Purpose. I can't wait to meet you back here really soon. Until then, remember to love the life you have while you're making it better. Love you, sis.